This video is the second part of a two-part video tutorial on DevTools. In this video I will show you things you can do in the Sources and Application tabs. So let's get started. Get DevTools up by either pressing Ctrl-Shift-I or pressing F12, or clicking on the three dots and then More Tools and then Developer Tools. Make sure you're on the Sources tab, and if you haven't got snippets up, click on this chevron and select snippets from the menu. I'm going to create a new snippet by clicking on this. I'm going to call it swap. Press F2 to rename it. Swap. No, I'm going to call it my swap. And then I'm going to create a function called my swap. Num1, two parameters, num2, and then let temp equal num1, num1 equals num2, and num2 equals temp. So this should swap things around, and then return an array num1, num2, and then I can destructure that num1 and num2 like that. I swap 3, 4. So now it'll swap num1 and num2. So if I do console log num1, num2, it'll swap those out. Save it. Control S to save it. And then right click on it, click run, and there it's got 4, 3, whereas I put 3, 4 in, so it swapped them around. If you go to the Page tab, you can look at your files. Right, that's the index, script, the styles, etc. But you cannot change them, they're read-only. If you want to change your files, then you have to go to File System, and you have to add your current folder to the workspace. You click on this, add folder to workspace, and then mine's get started web dev. Select it, and it asks you to give permission to allow you to edit the browser to edit it. So you click on that, and now you can edit your files. Give myself a bit more room, I think. This is edited by the browser workspace. There we are. Oh, but wrote space wrong. There we are. You can add a new file to your workspace by right-clicking on the folder and then clicking New File, and then you can rename it to what you want. Call it another file.js, and then you can put stuff into it if you want. You can also delete it. If you no longer wish to edit your folder inside the browser, you can right click on it and click on Remove Folder from Workspace, confirm it, and then it's gone. Click on the Network tab. Activity to the Network tab can only be seen when you load the files, so reload your data by reloading your browser. The top chart shows an overview of the network activity. The table is the network log. It shows the chronological order of the network activity. The WS is the live server. The status column shows the HTTP status sent back from the server. The type shows the type of file it is, and the initiator shows what happened to actually cause the file to load. Then the size and the time it took, and the waterfall gives you a visual overview of visual summary of the network activity, and you can mouse over it and get extra information. So going back to the Visual Studio Code, I'm going to put a button btn get posts and in script.js copy this down like this. My btn dot my btn, and then my btn dot add event listener, click, and then get posts. Now create a get post function. Because it takes time to send a request to the server and get a response, we have to make the function an async function. Constant get posts equals and constant response equals. Having made the function an async function, we can use the await keyword in places where it takes time. HTTPS JSON placeholder dot tippycode.com /posts constant data equals await response.json and console log data. If I click on get posts, I get the fetched posts, and also I get the status 200. This means all is okay. If you look at the index.html, the stars.css and script.js, their status is 304, which means not modified. It tells us that it got the index.html, the stars.css and the script.js file not from the server but from a temporary storage known as the cache. The point of caching is to reduce the number of requests and responses to the server by only getting the files from the server if the cache files have become stale and are out of date. If I look down here, I get the load time. The load time in this case was 17 milliseconds. That's quite fast, but then there's not much in these files. If I go to the Get Bootstrap website, have a look at that, refresh it, see how long that takes. There's a lot more to load, and this took, move this along a bit, (204 milliseconds, so quite a bit longer, but still not quite fast. Okay, let's get on to the Applications tab. Application. Start with the local storage. Local storage allows JavaScript sites and apps to save key value pairs in a web browser with no expiration date. The only way to get rid of the data in local storage is to delete it or clear it. Let's go to Visual Studio Code and create an item in local storage. Local storage dot set item, and then give it a label, learning, about DevTools. Then I'll create another one, local storage dot set item, name Fred. Let's save that, refresh, local storage, and there they are. Learning, there's a key, learning, and value about DevTools. Name is the key, and Fred is the value here. Going back to Visual Studio Code, if I go constant learning equals local storage dot get item learning, and then I can console log learning. So if I refresh the page, I get about DevTools in the console, which is what I had in the learning value. Go back to Visual Studio Code again. I can remove learning by local storage dot remove item learning, and now it's gone. Now I can remove the other item. I can either use remove local storage remove item again, or I can click clear here. I could have also used the local storage.clear function inside script.js to remove all the items from local storage. Session storage works in a similar way to local storage with the same commands, but with session storage the data is persisted until the window, tab or browser is closed. Cookies can be used in a similar way to local storage. Cookies were commonly used before local storage was created. Let's go to Visual Studio Code and create a cookie. Use document dot cookie equals favorite food equals chili con carne. Do another one. Document dot cookie equals favorite pet equals dog. So refresh the page. Go to cookies. It's got favorite dog. Move that a bit. Favorite pet dog. Favorite food chili con carne. If you want to get the cookies, then you can do constant all cookies equals document dot cookie. And then console log all cookies. So if I refresh the page, see I've got all the cookies out. And it comes out as a string, so you have to use JavaScript to select individual cookies that you wish to use. Index.db is more advanced than local storage, and it's used to store greater amounts of data, like a calendar, a to-do list, or saved games that are played on your local machine. But you shouldn't use it for sensitive data. And WebSQL is deprecated, so don't use that. In this video and the last one, I have tried to show you the most commonly used parts of Chrome Developer Tools. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If so, please subscribe for more.